Life is time. We measure how long we are existing by how long we're living. It's time. How you manage time affects in a big way what you will make out of your life. And on this channel, we're all about success. Achieving success looks different for different people. But ultimately, how we manage our time will affect whatever success means to you. Success might mean having a great relationship, having a great business, having a peaceful life, being joyful. Whatever success looks like to you, time management is central to it. And today I'm going to share my effective time management tips. These have helped me change my life, move from a lazy bum to becoming super productive. And I hope they will help you as well. I am sure they will help you. So let's get into it. So when I think productivity, I think you using your time in the most effective way for you. And this looks different for all of us. So when you hear productivity tips, you usually get, prioritize, or maybe wake up early, do this and that, the usual productivity tips. But I like to approach it differently because I never became productive until I understood why. Why did I want to become productive? What did I want to achieve? Where was I going? Who am I? What am I becoming? These are deep questions, but until I got to that place of understanding my value, my worth, where I'm going, I never really cared what I did with my time. I was a kind of person who just show up whenever you wanted me to show up. If my friend was bored and they said, okay, I need somebody to hang out with, I was there. If they said, okay, road trip this weekend, it didn't matter what I was up to, I'll be there. If they said, okay, can you meet me now? I was there. So I was the kind of person who never valued their time. And I realized at some point when I was driving a long drive, like it was a long, long drive to go see a friend who had just called me, and I stopped and I was like, how am I this available to people? I realized it's because I didn't know my purpose. I didn't understand my value. And therefore there was no way for me to value my time or to treasure my time. So I gave it away. So if you're having productivity issues, probably that could be an issue as well. Do you know who you are? Do you know where you're going with your life? Do you know what you want to achieve? When you know those things, then you start to value your time because everything you're doing brings an opportunity cost, an important one actually, that makes you think twice and say, maybe I can do something different. So number one tip is, who are you? That is an identity question. Who are you is central to everything that you do. If you say, I am lazy, I am confused, I am tired, I am bored, I don't know where I'm going. Like, there's so many negative things we put behind our I ams. And that is what defines what we'll do next. If you say, I am lazy, what do you think will come next? Productivity? What will come next? Effective use of time? What will come next? An organized life? No. When you say you're lazy, what will come next is just evidence of what you have just declared about yourself. So you have to identify yourself differently. Who do you want to be? Did God create you like a lazy person? Did you just come to the earth to be lazy? Did you come to earth to be a gluttony? Did you come to earth to be weak? You say, I am dumb, I am weak, all these things. I am not intelligent, I am slow. All these things. Is that what you're really about? When you choose to give yourself a new identity, to embody a new identity, you'll be surprised how much is within you that can push you forward in whatever goal you want to achieve. I used to say I am lazy. I used to say I am spontaneous. I used to say I'm not a planner. All these things showed up in how I did life. And when I started seeing that my habits were not helping me achieve the things I wanted to achieve, it's really tricky to be spontaneous and broke. So I never used to have money because I never planned for it. I never got organized because I was too lazy to do it. And I loved spontaneity. But in the end, I found that I was being broke. So it's hard for you to be spontaneous and travel around the world when you're broke. So I realized that my own identity was blocking what I wanted to achieve. So I had to pause and say, these I am lazy, I am disorganized, I am spontaneous things were not really helping me. I had to change my I am. So I realized that I actually became those things. I wasn't always spontaneous. I became that to escape a job I hated. I became that to escape a career I didn't enjoy. I became that to escape my personal life when it was getting chaotic. So me addressing those things allowed me to get organized in my life and changing my I am. I am not lazy. I am highly organized. I am successful. I am smart. I am creative. Those are powerful I ams that move me forward. When you embody that identity, evidence will flow into your life to back it up. Number 2 is what do you want to be? What do you want to be is about destination. Where are you going with your life? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want to achieve in this life? If you're a person who wants to build a business, there are specific things that you will be doing that will show that you want to build a business. If you're a person who is in ministry and you want to reach people for God, there are things that you have to be. Now, you can't just go with the flow and expect to arrive at a destination that will be pleasing to you. That's not possible. You have to be clear, because the person who is going into ministry is going to be different from a person who is going into full-time business. A person who wants to be a CEO is different from a person who wants to be a technician. A person who wants to be a farmer is different from a person who wants to be a singer. Those are different pathways. Your destination will show you what you need to be doing in the now, or what you need to be focusing on in the now. And that is really important, because your time and resources are limited. You can't just be all over the place. Of course, you are allowed time to experiment, to figure out what you truly want. But you really have to know that you have a destination, and your energy and your time and everything around you has to be in agreement with the destination that you want to get at. The third thing is, what do you need to do? This is a course correction question. What are you doing now that needs to stop? What are you doing now that is not in line with the 2 questions that came earlier? Your identity and your destination. What you're doing now has to back it up. That's your action, that's your habits. So if you want to get to a different place, if you say, no, I am an organized person, and your habits show that you don't care, you don't even have a schedule, you don't know what is important in this week or in this month, you don't have highlights of where you should be and what you should be doing, then that tells you that, okay, I need to change my habits. So you have to think, what should I be doing now? What should I stop doing now? And that is important in your journey. So when you're talking about this in line with productivity, what we're saying is you have to be aligned as a person. You have to be aligned in your vision. You have to be aligned, because that is what will command the self-control, the discipline that is necessary for you to manage your time. So we are done with the 3 main questions. These are internal stuff, right? So number 1 was, who are you? That is an identity question. Where are you going? A destination question. And what are you doing? Which is an action, a habit question. Now let's go into the practical aspect of it. Knowing all these and having answers to these 3 questions, now let's prioritize. Prioritization is simple when you define it. It's a ranking the things that are in your life. The most important to the least important. We say it like that, but it's very interesting on the ground when you really check somebody's life. Most people say, I prioritize God, I prioritize my family, I prioritize these relationships. And then you look at how they spend their time and you realize, no, you don't. How you spend your time indicates what you prioritize. And most of us need to course correct. Most of us need to change, because we give God 5 minutes and we say we prioritize Him. We give social media 7 hours and we say we don't prioritize it. It doesn't matter to us. That's not true. We need to make those changes. So list your priorities and make sure that your priorities are backed up with the right amount of time. This week, what are your priorities? Of course, they will shift week by week, because you should be making progress in life. And because life has different responsibilities, your priorities might be different. Your priorities could be raising a little child right now, and also maybe building a business because you can't go to work as you wanted to. So your priorities vary according to the seasons you're in, and that's okay. But you have to be aware of your priorities. There shouldn't be priorities imposed on you. You know that kind of situation where I have an urgent thing and I come into your space and make it urgent to you because I didn't do my thing at the right time? You don't want those things as priorities for you. I know I have those kind of relationships where people will be like, no, you have to travel today. I'm like, no, I don't have to. You needed to travel. That's your business. How am I traveling? So you have those relationships and situations where people haven't done what they needed to do. Now they just push their priorities on you. You have to be aware of that. The fact that this is not a priority to me, but it's now in my tray. What am I going to do about it? Be intentional with your priorities. And where you see that you're not giving the right amount of time to the things that you value, make the adjustments. You know why you should make those adjustments? It's because when you don't prioritize the right things in your life, it's going to lead to regret. And you don't want that. It's going to lead to a lot of remorse in your relationships, in your career, in your business, and you don't want that. So list your priorities and make sure that you don't have more than 10 priorities at one time. Have like 3 priorities and make sure you're giving them the best that you can. Just because you're not prioritizing something right now doesn't mean you won't prioritize it in the future. So allow yourself to have the flexibility to switch priorities. Allow yourself to let go of some things in one season and pick them up in another season. That is really important because life works in seasons, and so your priorities will have to follow suit. So the key things to notice in your prioritization is that you will edit some things out. You will delegate some things, pass them on to other people who could do them. You will delete some things because they're no longer necessary in that season or in that time. And you automate some things. I love automation. Let me simplify it. Like in my house back home when I had a maid, instead of me having this burden every day of saying, what are we going to eat? How are we going to eat? I'll just have a menu. I had automated our food. So I would have one day of shopping for everything that would need that week. And then my maid would have to see what are we making today? What are the kids wearing today? Everything was set up nicely. That is automating because it's not a priority for me to wake up and say, what are the kids wearing today? I can just plan that out and it will be carried out by somebody else. So that is delegation as well as automating. Automating is simplified automation. There's so many things that you can do that too. And that will help you free up time to prioritize on the very important things that require your actual energy and your actual time. Now, I'm going to say that you need a system for planning all this that you're doing. For prioritization, you need a list that you can check. I don't want you to have a to-do list. A to-do list can be exhausting because you put so many things. At least that's what I used to do. I'd have a long to-do list and I would celebrate every time I was ticking. And I'll be ticking off things like write an email, respond to an email. There'll be big things like develop that proposition, write that score, reach out to that client, big things that I would ignore. But there would be like 5 main things and then 20 useless things that I would be ticking off. I would still feel good because I would have ticked off most of the things. So I realized that to-do list can be misleading and it can let you focus on things that are not really necessary. I have a planner, the On Your Lane planner. It gives you a system of prioritizing 3 things every day and that's it. You can have more on your to-do list, but you will know that these 3 priorities must be done or otherwise I didn't do well this day. That is a better system of having top 3 priorities for the day instead of having 50 priorities for the day. I remember giving this planner to my friend. She bought it actually and she was like, oh, you need to give me more space. My to-do list is longer than your planner. And I was like, well, if it can't fit in there, you probably are not doing it. Are you doing all of them? And she was like, no, but I just like to write them in there. I was like, that's the whole point. You should be able to say, it's just a Monday. I can't do 70 things. How about moving a couple of things to Wednesday, a couple of things to Friday, so that I can effectively do what is essential? It's not just about getting things done, all things, because all tasks are not created equal. Some tasks are more important than others. Some tasks have more impact than others. Some tasks are more urgent than others. So you have to look at your specific day and say, what is important today? You might just do 2 things. You might just do 1 thing, but it will be amazingly huge that it impacts the rest of your week or it changes the rest of your week. You see? So I encourage you to check out the On Your Lane planner. The details are in the description box. Check it out. It's a system that will help you manage your time and help you move intentionally towards your goal. It simplifies things because it comes one day at a time. So it allows you to make these progressive steps towards the things that you want. You need a planner system to help you prioritize and stick to your priorities. The last thing you must do is evaluate. It's really important to stop and say, am I being aligned with the things that I talked about? Am I being honest about the progress I'm making? Do I need to make some adjustments with my goals? It's important to do this. And I remember for a long time, I never would review my goals. I'll just set the goals at the start of a year and check them again at the end of a year. And most of the times I'll look back and say, I had forgotten this. I had forgotten that I wanted to achieve this. And I would see that I had done nothing that was important to me. I was just busy throughout the whole time, and it was at the end of the year and I'd be like, okay, I need to do better. And I remember giving up on resolutions saying, they don't work. The problem was not that the resolutions don't work. The problem was that I didn't have a system for checking on those resolutions, for adjusting those resolutions, for enforcing and creating accountability towards those resolutions that I said were important to me. And that is what evaluation does. And that's what the On Your Lane Planner does as well. It helps you pause and say, how did this week go? Did I make the progress that I wanted? Do I need to change something? Because you know what? It's easy to change a week. It's easy to make an adjustment on a mistake you have made in one day than it is to change a mistake you made 6 months ago or a mistake that you've been making for 9 months. That's what makes people give up, to say, oh my goodness, I'll just try again next year. Because you spent so much time without evaluating your progress. And therefore, it just seems too big to fix. So when you get into the habits of evaluating, making these reviews consistent, let's say weekly, monthly, it allows you to really learn from your mistakes, build on your wins, and move forward with purpose. I do understand that my productivity tips are different, but they're different because they come from within you and they'll push you forward. Which one are you going to reinforce? Which one jumped at you and you're like, yes, I need to do that? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments as well. I love to answer you and engage with you. My name is Mavis Tandizoganjadza. You can find me across all social media platforms. And also I'm here weekly so we can connect here as well. I have so many programs that can help you elevate your life. So check out the description box there for paid and free programs that you can work with me on. I'd love to connect with you. And I will see you next week, right? Okay. Bye-bye.